Zillow is having a terrible, terrible, no good, rotten year. Do you guys remember that book about the terrible, bad day? Yeah, that's Zillow's year. So let's talk about the newest lawsuit that is coming at Zillow and how you might be a part of it. I know, you're like, wait, what? I might be involved? Person watching Jennifer's videos? Yeah, I mean, if you're a home buyer within the last 4 years that worked with a Zillow agent, that's part of the class action. So first, an overview of Zillow's year. Zillow got into a fight with Compass this year. Compass is one of the biggest real estate brokerages in America. Zillow was saying, hey, if you have a listing, you have to put it on NMLS within 24 hours or we'll never put it on Zillow. They're expecting Compass to go, oh no, you're the biggest search engine. We don't want to lose you. We'll do whatever you say, sir. Compass said, ha 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 ha, we're going to do whatever we want. If we want to pre-market the house just to a certain audience, if we want to do this or that, we're going to do it. If we don't end up on Zillow, we don't care. Okay, so Zillow right now, as I film this in September 2025, does not have all the listings in all the areas at all the time because of this fight with Compass. They drew a line in the sand thinking that Compass would behave, and Compass laughed. These two are suing each other, okay? There's a lot of lawsuits. Look them up. Now what? Oh man, I would not want to be the CEO of Zillow right now. I'll tell you that. Like, I don't care if you have a golden parachute. That is a bad job. So the lawyers who sued the National Association of Realtors, the NAR lawsuit, I covered it on this channel. It was the biggest real estate lawsuit in history, over $1 billion settlement. It changed the way that we do real estate today. Yeah, they're going after Zillow. Yeah, they are. And look, these aren't chumps. These are people who do their research. They understand real estate, and they have always been very pro-consumer transparency. And look, as a mortgage lender for the last 18 years, do I think there's a lack of transparency in real estate? Oh yeah, totally. Absolutely. It's a problem. Like, I literally have done videos talking about what this lawsuit is about years ago, screaming it, saying this is wrong, this is wrong. Usually I call out the DOJ. DOJ, I hope you watch me. Come on, guys, I'm giving you all the hot clues. Anyways, so I'm delighted by this lawsuit. It's important to note I'm not an attorney. This is just my personal opinion. Zillow, don't sue me. I'm allowed to have an opinion. So these are the same lawyers that brought the big NAR lawsuit. They're a force to be reckoned with. And that's important. Whenever you're coming after a big company, a big behavior within the real estate industry, you need money and power to back it. That's why Compass and these two have been going back and forth, is they have money and power. Other people have gone up against Zillow and they've been squashed. They don't have money and power. Here we go. So what's the class action about? I'm going to read it to you. And I am going to have a link to the lawyer's website. If you were a home buyer in the last 4 years, that's the class that they are looking to speak to, who worked with a Zillow agent. They are saying that according to this is an article that's summing it up. According to the lawsuit, Zillow tricks prospective home buyers into signing up with a Zillow agent through its website. You're like, well, wait, how do they do that? Here's the thing. So if you're on the website and you see a house you like, you know how it has that little button? It's not little, it's big. And it says, schedule a tour today. That's it, okay? Because you may think, oh, I'm scheduling a tour to see this house. The listing agent's gonna show it. You click that button, it's a Zillow agent, okay? So the first claim is that they're tricking you into signing up with a Zillow agent, because if it said, sign up with a Zillow agent, and disclosed everything, would you do it? Maybe, maybe not. When it's dressed up as pick a time to tour now, there you go. Okay, then it says, if the sale goes through and a Zillow Flex agent is involved, that agent must pay Zillow up to 40% of the commission. Okay, so what's a Zillow Flex agent? So back in the day, Zillow just used to sell leads to realtors. So they would charge $5, $10. It got crazy. Like, I had one real estate agent tell me she was paying $20,000 a month to Zillow for leads. You're a lead if you're a home buyer. They switched models a few years ago, and what it is now is that they send leads to their Flex agents. And if their Flex agents close the deal, they get a huge chunk of their commission, up to 40% in certain markets. If they haven't taken that page down, I'll send it to you so you guys can see it. Okay. This cut of the commission paid to Zillow for no services rendered related to the real estate sale, that's important. So in lending and real estate, there's this whole thing called RESPA. And the way RESPA works is it's supposed to be that so for instance, if I refer a deal to another lender and I don't do any work on the deal, I can't get paid, right? They're saying, hey, look, they're getting this huge cut of money and they're not actually helping with the real estate sale. They're just a search engine. They're not helping with the real estate sale, so this violates RESPA. That's one of their arguments. It's never disclosed to the buyer or seller. That's the transparency, right? So you've got a real estate agent where Zillow is taking 40% of their commission. Neither the seller or the buyer know this. No one's told, which is crazy to me. And that's one of the reasons I got so fired up about it before. Like I tell my buyers, I'm like, hey, you realize they're taking a cut of XYZ, right? And whenever I tell someone that, they're like, what? That's crazy. And I'm like, yeah, click button, pay 40%, right? Okay. Then they say, Zillow keeps the identity of Zillow Flex agent secret, leaving buyers unaware of whether their agent is a Flex agent. Zillow's scheme has the intent and the effect of unlawfully maintaining high and inflexible commissions that drive up the prices that buyers must pay. Here's the thing, because of the NAR lawsuit, we now live in a world where as a buyer, you're supposed to negotiate with your agent how much they get paid. The whole concept of that was to make it so this world of 3% to the buyer and 3% to the listing agent goes away, and buyers are saying, hey, maybe I'll pay you 1.5, maybe I'll pay you 2, maybe I'll pay you this. It's a negotiation of the fee they want that agent to make, whether they're paying out of pocket or they're going to ask the agent to negotiate with the seller. How can you as a buyer negotiate with an agent if you don't know all the players in the deal? And that's one of the big transparency issues. You're sitting there, the agent saying, I need 3%. I can't do it for less than 3%. You want to work with that agent. You're trying to understand why, but they're not telling you, hey, I got to make 3% because Zillow is going to take 40% of my paycheck because you clicked that button. That's not being disclosed. So you can't negotiate in good faith because information is being concealed from you. That's what they're saying. Real estate is a unique marketplace where hundreds of thousands of dollars are routinely at play, said Steve Berman, Hagens Berman's founder and managing partner. We believe Zillow is well aware of the potential for ill-gotten gains in this space and has sought to play fast and loose when real people's basic need of housing is on the table. A company with a footprint is not too big to be held accountable, and we intend to support homebuyers who have been harmed. So I would check this out. I think it's really interesting because here's the thing. I believe in transparency. I believe that as a buyer, you should know that if you click a button, you're going to have a tougher time negotiating down the commission of the agent because there's this other player in the room. Zillow's not the only company doing this, okay? So here's what I think is going to happen. If this becomes a full class action lawsuit, I think it will be in court for a few years. That's part of this because people are like, class action attorneys take so much money. Guys, the class action attorneys are the ones fronting all their fees in many cases, so they need to make a good amount of money. I know that sounds wrong, but they're going to be in court for years, right? But if they are successful, and if they win, it's going to become a template for other lawyers to go after other companies doing this. And you're like, why do I care, Jen? It's simple. If a real estate agent right now is happy to close a house for 60% of their commission, do you think the 40% should be going to some company where you clicked a button, or would you prefer that 40% discount? Now, of course, you would have to negotiate for it, but that's the bottom line with all of this, is that how can you negotiate to keep more money in your wallet, to get a lower price on the house, if you don't even know who the players are? So I hope this video was helpful. I'll have a ton of links on it. We'll be watching it as it goes on, but yeah, this is a big deal, and I am very happy that someone's shining a light on this because it's problematic. We see it right now with mortgage companies where they're like, if you use our preferred real estate partner, we'll give you $1,000 towards closing costs. But they're making $5,000, $6,000, $10,000 off that preferred real estate partner because they referred you, and you're not being told that. You're just getting this shiny object of $1,000. So if we want to get to a place where real estate prices are lower and commissions are better, we've got to get these egregious players who are taking these huge chunks out. Thanks for watching.